Welcome to today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Tall people, short people, thin people, fat. Lady so dainty wearing a hat. Lanky people, dumpy people. Man dressed in brown. Baby in a buggy. These make a town. In this case, these make all Jamaica. And with such diversity, the country must be equipped with the necessary resources to meet the varying needs of its people. We'll bring you highlights on ways in which these essentials are being catered to right after the news.
Jamaica comes alive for Jamaica 55. The Jamaica Information Service is inviting primary, secondary, and tertiary students to catch the vibes and join in the celebration by participating in this year's staging of the JIS Heritage Competition. Primary and prep school children, ages 9 to 12, enter the essay competition and tell us how you would want to see Jamaica in 55 years. High schoolers, enter the poster competition. Show us your artistic interpretations of Jamaica throughout her 55 years in a poster titled Jamaica 55. Posters may be designed digitally or illustrated. Zoom, click, snap. Yes, tertiary students, the photo competition is back. Capture an image that best represents Jamaica 55. For more information on the competition rules and how to submit entries, visit the JIS website at www.jis.gov.jm. You may also send an email to heritageessay@jis.gov.jm, heritageposter@jis.gov.jm, or heritagephoto@jis.gov.jm, or call us at 926-3590-4. The deadline for all entries is October 31, 2017. So ready, set, go for prizes galore. JIS Heritage Competition 2017, celebrating Jamaica 55.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, October 4. Government is a step closer to making the Major Organized Crime and Anti-Corruption Task Force, MOCA, an independent law enforcement agency. On Tuesday, National Security Minister Robert Montego opened debate on the MOCA bill, which was tabled by Prime Minister Andrew Holness earlier this year.
MOCA will provide the sustained, focused, strong cross-cutting investigations and integrate complex legal, financial, and personal data from diverse sources and jurisdictions, which will aid in tracing and seizing the proceeds of organized crime over the long term. MOCA is expected to break the power of major criminals, eliminate the influence of facilitators, and eradicate the pervasive corruption that allows criminality to flourish.
Mr. Montego said he would be tabling a list of amendments to the bill to include the removal of the current provision for the MOCA Oversight Committee to hire staff as it deems necessary. The National Security Minister said the removal would eliminate any inclination for MOCA officers to investigate their colleagues should a complaint be made to the Oversight Committee. On the education front, there's been marked increases in students' performance in the Grade 4 literacy and numeracy tests. Numeracy moved up 7.1%, while literacy results improved by 5.5% over last year. While unveiling the figures Tuesday, Education Minister Ruel Reid said that of the more than 37,000 students who sat the exams on June 21 and 22 this year, over 95% achieved either mastery or almost mastery in literacy. Over 90% also scored at either mastery or almost mastery in the numeracy test.
We have had a very good year where we have seen improved results in all the exams that we have reported on this year. So we are trending in the right direction.
The Agriculture Ministry is making $80 million available to help coffee farmers purchase fertilizers and fungicides in order to increase their level of productivity. Portfolio Minister Carl Samuda says the money will come from the Productivity Incentive Program and will also be used to provide capacity building and training programs for the farmers. It's expected to help move the productivity level of coffee from the current 20 boxes per acre to 80 boxes per acre. The assistance comes in the wake of farmers seeing reduced prices for their coffee, particularly to the major Japanese market. While deliberations continue with Japan, the minister is urging coffee dealers to take a multi-pronged approach to production and redouble their efforts to find alternative markets.
What we want in this country is a coffee industry. We don't want only a Blue Mountain coffee industry. What we are going to insist on achieving is increased production of high mountain and lowland coffee. The objective will be to ensure that the coffee produced in Jamaica, blended or pure, is born of Jamaican soil, grown here in Jamaica.
The Agriculture Minister was addressing a press briefing on Tuesday to provide an update on developments in the industry. Minister of Local Government and Community Development, Desmond McKenzie, says the country will have to spend just over $3 billion to recover from damage brought on by flood rains in April and May this year. Clarendon, St. Catherine, and St. Anne were most affected, while St. Thomas, Portland, and St. Elizabeth also suffered significant damage. Minister McKenzie says the $3 billion is being spent between the local municipal authorities and the National Works Agency.
We are intending starting early next year to have a comprehensive assault on parochial roads across the country.
Minister McKenzie was speaking with JIS News following Friday's meeting with a delegation from the United States Embassy. The meeting focused on disaster preparedness and management. The group explored the possibility of a simulation exercise related to Jamaica's continuation of government plan. Ideas were also exchanged on the structure and operations of the Office of Disaster Preparedness and Emergency Management, the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
We also, in the discussion, look at strengthening the capacity of the Jamaica Fire Brigade as our first respondent, and we discuss other areas of mutual benefit both to Jamaica and to the United States.
JUTC sub-franchise holders have until October 13 to renew their road licenses. The extension was granted on Monday following the September 30 expiration of the JUTC sub-franchise road licenses. As a result, the Transport Authority's Inspectorate and the police will exercise discretion by not prosecuting persons for operating without current road licenses. Even as the renewal extension has been granted, the authority is urging licensees to ensure that they meet the October 13 renewal deadline. And finally, former Prime Minister Portia Simpson Miller has been conferred with the Honorary Doctorate of Laws degree from the University of the West Indies for her contribution to government.
In honoring my contribution to public life and my service in the political sphere, the UWI is in essence honoring the people of Jamaica. It is the attainment of their dreams and ambitions that I have pursued for nearly 50 years of political life.
At Saturday's special convocation ceremony, the island's 7th Prime Minister confirmed that she had accepted the university's offer of being an honorary distinguished fellow.
Through this engagement, I will seek to share my life's work with students, staff, and the people of Jamaica and the Caribbean.
Mrs. Simpson Miller is expected to have an office at the institution. She will also be associated with the Institute of Gender and Development Studies, where she will write her memoir and other literary works. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Hurricanes can strike at any time. In the event of one, be prepared to act quickly. If a hurricane watch or warning has been issued, review your home disaster response plan. Map out likely routes to evacuate if your home is at risk, and confirm with relatives or friends you plan to stay with. Also, confirm the location of the nearest shelter. Check your emergency supplies and restock if necessary. Remember, disasters do happen, so be prepared.
From natural disasters to invasive pests, our farmers face constant threats. In this next feature, an effort by the Ministry of Agriculture to ambush one of those threats, the beet armyworm.
This is a message from RADA for restore order. Food security come first. Protect your crop, them that is a must. Beet armyworm, Montego, fucking true, we are getting rid of them.
Measuring 15 to 30 millimeters in length, these tiny beet armyworms are responsible for millions of dollars in losses to the agriculture sector. They have ravaged hectares of onions and scallions in the New Forest Duff House Agro Park in Manchester.
Within this area, we have over 1,000 farmers, close to a minimum of about, say 800 farmers was affected. Over 100 million was estimating damages to farmers.
The Ministry of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries has spent over $18 million to assist the Rural Agricultural Development Authority, RADA, with their intervention efforts in tackling the outbreak.
When we observed that we had the outbreak of the beet armyworm in our fields, some of us didn't know what they looked like or what stages they were. However, the RADA representative from the area was contacted, and we got some training from RADA to identify the different stages of the beet armyworm, from the eggs to the larva to the pupae and to the bat stage.
The intervention strategies were varied and have proven fruitful.
One of the best thing to do is to handpick, to reduce the field.
Because they're inside the leaf of the scallion, the chemical will not reach them. So what we do, we get to our buckets and we pick the leaves off, and then we apply the chemical. We use Agri, Zentar.
Agri we mostly use for the eggs, and it controls the worms at the small stage. An experience, there's no insecticide that can manage the more mature worms.
The farmers were also taught how to make and set traps to catch the moth.
Well, they told us how to make the traps using a plastic bottle and wires. We connect the pheromone. It attracts the males. We attach that to the wire, and so the bats, they will be attracted to the pheromone, which has a female scent. They come to the trap and fall into the soap water. That helped us tremendously because it reduced the amount of worm in our fields. Now we are rebounding from that.
We did a simple check at this field, and what we do was to use what we refer to as the X method. So we did that by setting up 5 stations in the field. So for each station, we check 5 plants, right? And for those 5 plants, what we did is to count all the leaves on each plant and check the amount of damaged leaf. And then we just select 1 leaf and check to see if there are any worm inside of it. And then what we realized that we find 1 worm, which is a dead worm. Simple meaning that the chemicals that we have recommended to the farmer is actually working.
As we are at a very low level of infestation that you can hardly take the worm, it is very much important that farmers pay attention with their pheromone traps in terms of the presence of the bats, so we can put in preventive measures in terms of spraying to actually prevent the re-emerging of the beet armyworm.
Protect Jamaica, plant your grass. Help us become more resilient to climate change impacts. Protect Jamaica, plant a tree. It improves the island's national biodiversity. Trees may be fruit, ornamental, or timber, but must be native or suitable to the area's natural landscape. Join the Jamaica Million Tree Campaign and help to plant 1 million trees by June 30, 2019. This is a call to action by the National Environment and Planning Agency.
The National Tree Planting Day is the first Friday of every October, and on this Friday we encourage all Jamaicans to get out and participate in planting a tree. We all know the importance of trees. They contribute to reducing carbon dioxide. They play a very important role in terms of reducing the emissions from vehicles, protecting ourselves against deforestation. Planting a tree helps to protect against that. Towards this activity, we engage in distributing seedlings starting the 2nd week of September, going 1 week after the actual event. Come to the department, we have ornamental tree seedlings and we have timber tree seedlings. We have a national tree planting program whereby we offer the seedlings and technical assistance once you have the land and you can prove that it is your land and you want to have it planted as such. Once again, we just want to encourage Jamaicans to come out this Friday, first Friday in October, to plant a tree, whether at school, at home, your church, community groups. engage in contributing to the sustenance. The trees we're enjoying now were planted before us by someone else. So it's right that we carry on this tradition.
Recreation, entertainment, excitement, accommodation, first-class facilities for all sporting grades. For you, the family and international guests, this is the future of the office. Take a look.
It is the venue for national sporting activities and major events. Fondly called the office by local sports fans, the National Stadium is earmarked for major redevelopment under the Jamaica 55 Legacy Projects Initiative. The objective of the Jamaica 55 National Stadium redevelopment is to provide Jamaica with a first-class modern sport venue. When the project is completed, it is expected that the National Stadium will host mega events such as the IAAF Diamond League meets and FIFA CONCACAF tournaments, as well as concert tours, conventions and mass meetings that are usually held at world-class stadia across the globe.
The Minister has announced what we call a bidding team led by the Honourable Mike Fennell, and we're going to put the people with the expertise on it so we can go there and go after in an aggressive way and in a very meaningful way these international games.
Before the country can host those international events, a few shortcomings need to be addressed, like limited seating of only 31,000 and partial covering of the grandstand area.
Right now, we fail most of the tests that our international sporting bodies put on what is required in our infrastructure to stage major international sports.
The stadium also needs improved security, emergency exits, dedicated access for VIPs, players and officials, and better medical facilities, media broadcast booths and concession stands. Also, a purpose-built secure doping testing area for athletes.
In what they call an athlete exclusion zone. Right now, what we have is a makeshift arrangement which Ward has said, yes, it's not too bad, but it's not ideally where it ought to be.
The redevelopment of the National Stadium contains 9 major changes to the office. The bleachers section, located east of the grandstand, is to be demolished and replaced with a modern all-seater stand extending to trackside. The upper north and south bleacher will be upgraded with a modern all-seater stand, complete with concessions, public toilets, security and first aid stations. A new trackside service area and energy-efficient lighting are also in the plans. A state-of-the-art wireless communication system will be installed, and the grandstand will be upgraded to include a better VIP area, additional concessions, toilets, and trackside seating.
If we're going to be serious and treat sports not just as recreation, but look at the business of sports and what it can do for us in terms of national development, real economic returns from sports, we have to have the right infrastructure.
So added to the plans is a first-rate venue operating center, proper gate management, security staging areas, first aid centers, maintenance facility, and a sport equipment and operational storage area. Leading into the stadium itself,
we are improving on what we call Statue Square, which is right in front of the National Stadium. When they come there to be able to buy miniature statues of the Usain statue. You must have an ice cream kiosk that people can come on a Sunday afternoon, buy ice cream and 2 hamburgers and then take the picture and go home. And people go to the stadium not just to watch a football match or to watch a netball match, but it now becomes a social area, the center of entertainment and sporting activities in Kingston. We now have a development plan. The price tag on it is $45 million to get it done.
The redevelopment work is being conducted in 4 phases and should be completed by the year 2022. So, just as our athletes have achieved global fame, if government has its way, the place where many began their journey to stardom will also become world-renowned.
So it becomes a modern stadium, and that's our aim, that's our vision, that is going to be achieved.
The Scientific Research Council is bringing reliable, accurate, and efficient analytical testing services to you. Investors, manufacturers, and service operators, protect yourself and consumers by ensuring that your product and environs are safe and secure. Come to us to test your food, cosmetics, potable and recreational water, environmental air quality, trade effluent, and to conduct shelf life studies for products. The SRC conducts on-site sampling, or you can submit your samples to our offices at Hope Gardens Complex, Kingston 6. The Analytical Services Department Laboratory is certified locally and internationally and is accredited ISO 17025. For more information, visit our office or send an email to prinfo@src-jamaica.org or call us at 927-177124. The Scientific Research Council, making science, technology, and innovation work for you.
If given a second chance, what would you do with it? Something to think about, not true? While you do, watch this for some inspiration.
Education is the most powerful weapon you can use to change the world, said Nelson Mandela. This quote rings true for many Jamaicans who have been given a new lease on life through the work of the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning, JFLL. Formerly known as JAML, JFLL was established in 1974 for one major purpose.
The opportunity of providing a second chance to adult learners to be able to, one, be just to read your Bible, come to us. If it is that you want to have a better job, if you want to transition to post-secondary education, we are the place for that.
Fortunately, that objective is being realized in the lives of many adults, with Jamaica's adult literacy rate in 2016 being 87%. At the institution's inaugural Power Breakfast in September 2016, Jamaicans were exposed to the stories of two adults who have realized their full potential through the work of the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning. Meet 59-year-old Raphael Young.
I am thankful for this program, JFLL. It has changed my life and developed my reading skill so that I can read. When I heard of the program were coming to my community, I was very glad and I welcome the program. I made an assessment. When I joined the class, I was in grade 1 with a workbook named A Day with the Sharp, a first reader for adult published by Jamal Foundation. When I did my numeracy test, I end level 1 and in level 2 and take the test again and end level 2 and in level 3 and further on. The class allow me now to able to read the star so that I can read the good and bad news.
Raphael, a proud graduate of the program. It's good news also for the stakeholders at a time when the institution is entering more adult learners in the CSEC external examinations.
People told us that we could not take learners who couldn't read and write and get them up to CSEC level and let them pass CSEC subjects in 2 years. They were absolutely wrong. This year, we had about 167 learners across our network, who most came to us reading as our grade 2 child would have read. And we worked with them. And 47 of those learners decided to sit 5 subjects straight. And right now we're getting in the results. We have so far 15 of the 47 who have completed and passed 5 subjects.
Among the bright students, 47-year-old grandmother Veronica Robinson Malcolm.
My educational
ambition got disrupted when I got pregnant at a tender age of 15 years old. I dropped out of regular school at grade 10. In spite of that setback, I was determined to further my education. I heard about the JFLL program by way of a JS program. I took up the pleasure of applying there, which I was enrolled, and now I have 5 CXC subjects, 6 JSE subjects. Thanks. My children have all grown. I am now a proud grandmother of 4. The experience of JFLL was phenomenal. The interaction as a student, president of the student council, the teachers, the administrative body, and the clerical staff. Honestly, I can't tell you how good it was. I am a true example of this old saying, you are never too old to learn.
Never too old to learn, a sentiment advocated by the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information.
That is a message that we want to get out there. Because we want every adult to not only be fully literate, but to be trained and certified at the highest level. It helps very often with the education system in terms of the generation. The more parents are educated, the more their children also are educated. It works. All adults I'd love in Jamaica to make lifelong learning a culture.
As JFLL continues to modernize, the way ahead is clear.
We will be intensifying our effort to identify and secure strategic partnerships to support JFLL's mandates. Target areas with high pockets that are in need of remedial support to guide program expansion, to interface with the Ministry of Education and other ministries, departments and agencies, international development partners, and the UNESCO Institute for Lifelong Learning to further our reach into these areas.
So, if you're an adult looking for a second chance at learning, forget the naysayers, embrace the change.
A lot of people try to disencourage me, say I'm too old to go to the school. There are many voices, including the voice of your family member and friend, with some negative word that will lead you astray. But don't listen to those voices. Don't give up just because of what someone said. Use that as a motivation to push harder.
For further information on the programs offered by the Jamaican Foundation for Lifelong Learning, visit their website at jfll.gov.jm or call 928-5181.
So you've been hearing about the HOPE program, but how much do you know about it? Colonel Rickman, National Coordinator of the initiative, tells us more.
The first bit of the training program is about values and attitudes, where we will train the individuals in soft skills, personal development skills like financial management and entrepreneurship, civics and citizenship type training to build their patriotic awareness of Jamaica, where Jamaica is going, and how they can play their part in it.
Help us to build a more informed Jamaica. Share your views and ideas with us on our social media sites and YouTube channel. Have questions? Send us an email. Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. On behalf of the entire team here at the JIS, I'm Adrian Atkinson, wishing you good health.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.